Hello and welcome to my Aetherdrift cEDH review, also known as the Death Ray set. It is first a great feeling to be back to recording. January was not kind to my sanity with all the reconstruction, so new cardboard is the perfect remedy. And second, this is shaping out to be a really great set for many formats, but today we are going to talk about cEDH. So let's wave that green starting flag, because first I'm not going to talk about one but 5 cards. Yes, the land, specifically the next Verges. We did not have to wait long since Duskmourn to get another 5 Verge lands, and just like those prior, all of these are awesome. First, any dual land you have basically turns them on, so 2 color decks love them, and 3 color decks for sure will play 2 or 3 even. And yeah, that is about it. These are awesome untappers without much of a restriction, so keep an eye out for these during pre-release or wherever you get your cards. Moving on to the next one, we have Repurposing Bay, a blue artifact for 2 and a blue with 2 generic and tap, sacrifice another artifact, search your library for an artifact carrying mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrificed artifact's mana value, put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Activate only as a sorcery. Eagle-eyed viewers already picked up on the fact, yes, this is a birthing pod for artifacts, a second one when you count Oswald. And I can already tell you a few decks that will want this for certain shenanigans. You got Urza, Tivit, and obviously Shorikai to search for certain pieces to help them win the game. But what if I told you, especially with being on theme a little with Aetherdrift, that my Armix Thrasios would actually want this? I know I am still testing out the waters with this one, but just sacrificing Armix to get the One Ring sounds awesome. And with that, I would like to go do a shameless plug for myself here, because on February 6th you can see the season finale where I'm playing that deck again. And right after that, on Sunday the 9th of February, a deck tech for my version, where I will mention Repurposing Bay a little more along with the next card, named Unstoppable Plan. A blue enchantment for 2 and a blue. At the beginning of your end step, untap all non-land permanents you control. Now yes, I would want to have this card in the aforementioned deck, but just look at it this way. Before you write in the comments, yes, we are living in kind of a flash instant speed meta where everyone is trying to win over another, but also we are still in the meta where you want to play Necro, draw a fuck ton of cards and be like, here's Born Upon a Wind and win. Here's Born Upon a Wind and win. In this one, you can stack the trigger to resolve after you do your Necro and Board and you cast your rocks, use them for something and then untap them and go again. I mean, just on paper, this card seems crazy. Sure, it's no Muse, but I'm sure Turbo Necro players are salivating over this one. Right, guys? I know you're watching, and yes, this may be a win more card, but I'm sure in the right shelf this will be nasty. Time to leave the colors behind, be one with the machine, because the next card is Lifecraft Engine, an artifact vehicle for free that is a 4/4 with crew free and this awesome text. As this vehicle enters, choose a creature type. Vehicle creatures you control are the chosen creature type in addition to their other types. Each creature you control of the chosen type other than this vehicle gets +1/+1. Magda players rejoice. Another artifact for your combo. And just on curve too? I mean, how exciting of a world. A few more like these and I can see all Magda players having more robots and machines in the deck rather than actual red-blooded dwarves. Upgrades people, upgrades, or the future is nigh, old man. One of these fits more than the other. Speaking of blood on the red line, we got Howl Squad Heavy, a goblin mercenary 2/3 for 2 and a red with a new ability, Start Your Engines. Let's talk about this new ability a little. So, start your engines. If you have no speed, it starts at 1. It increases once on each of your turns when an opponent loses life. Max speed is 4. This means that once you have speed, you can only increase it once per turn by doing damage to your opponents or making them lose life. As far as the start engines triggering again by different permanents, it does not seem to be the case. I mean, I read the rules text numerous times and the mechanics for Aetherdrift, so yeah, you either have no speed, go to 1, or you have speed and this has no effect. Yeah, a little weird, but we'll get back to it in a second. Now, what else does the heavy do? Other goblins you control have haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. That token attacks this combat if able. Also, max speed, tap, add red mana for each goblin you control. So, as I mentioned, max speed is part of Start Your Engines, and reaching the 4th and final stage of speed even gives you mana for your goblins, but you can ignore that text. This card seems to be an auto-include in Muxus, because giving goblins haste is just what it wants to do, and obviously Vinota gets more bodies to trigger itself, but also is this a strict upgrade to Goblin Rabblemaster? Maybe. If not, having 2 of the same effect, well, technically 3, is something that Vinota wants, right? All Vinota players returning from their graves. Wow, am I a good necromancer or what? Speaking of the black card, let's go to my favorite card and speak about the Speed Demon, one of the first commander options instead of just a good 99 edition. So the Speed Demon is a 5/5 for free and 2 black, is a legendary with flying and trample. Obviously start your engines again, as I mentioned earlier, and at the beginning of your end step you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is your speed. Now how I wish this was a Dimir commander, but alas. So basically you go to speed 1 when you put this into the field, attack maybe something else, deal damage, go to speed 2 and you're already drawing 2 cards. And drawing card effects in the command zone are good, right? Sure, Mono Black has many options, and this may not be a tier 1 commander, but a fun new option for you to try out. And having a 1 ring kind of effect in the command zone must be good for something. And also somewhere I read that with all the Nulls and Necro players out there, pressuring life totals is a good thing. So let's go, I guess. And before I move on from this card, I want to mention this is one of the first contenders for my 2025 Halloween special. Yes, talking about Halloween and February ain't cursed, my black heart is pleased. And now let's get to the card that gave me multiple sleepless nights, namely Ketramos, the New Dawn. That is a legendary god 4/4 for 1, a white and a black with Menace, Lifing, Indestructible. Ketramos can't attack or block unless there are 7 or more cards in exile, and whenever 1 or more cards are put into exile from graveyards and or the battlefield during your turn, you draw a card and lose 1 life. If this had partner, it would replace Timna on the spot. And that is a hill I will die on. But anyways, back to the topic of drawing cards from the command zone and an effect that is not limited to once per turn. Sure, it's only during your turn and each effect will only draw 1 card even if you exile all 3 graveyards at once. But while many people want to build a Stax variant, I think this could be a fun Storm deck in a way, if you had good win cons in them colors. Orzo as it stands is not the strongest color combination, but there are some fun options out there. However, my favorite must be that this commander is a Doomsday commander, in that it basically cracks your Doomsday pile the moment you finish assorting it. And how badass is that? With the first card being Relic of Progenitus on top of that pile, you can literally crack the rest of the 4 cards with that card alone. Unfortunately, the line is only if you have blue players in your pot and you can steal their win cons, which on paper is sad. That Doomsday pile is spicy by then. Before you get into the comments, read the Relic again. Slowly. I won't be playing this one yet, but I'm keeping my eye for it in other formats, as I mentioned earlier. And if we do get more Orzo combos that can also win from a Doomsday pile, you know, I will be there breaking that shit. Now, we did talk a lot about the main set, but Aetherdrift also has a commander product, and there are a few things that caught my eyes. Let's start with Red Toon Mystic, which is a zombie bird 2/1 for 1 in the blue with flying, and each creature card in your hand has cycling for 1 in the blue. Draw cards, check. Discard your reanimation targets, check. Sure, it's not the strongest bird and dies to a Bowmaster, but as a reanimator fanatic, I am loving this. Not sure where I would try it, even in duel is kinda iffy, but in certain cEDH decks this is a fun powerhouse. And why would you want to discard creature cards, you may be asking? Well, let's go to our final card with that statement from the same deck, namely the real talk of the internet everywhere, and that is Hashaton Scarab's Fist, aka the other commander. That is a 1/3 for white and a black, and whenever you discard a creature card you may play 2 generic and a blue. If you do, create a tap token as a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. The blue in the text box makes this an Esper commander, by the way. And also, this is basically an uncontrollable effect that does not target. All you have to do is discard and pay free. Hello, cracking Lionside Diamond and discarding an Oracle after you exile your library, because, you know, Stax is a thing or whatever. And this is an ability, so counter spells I mean, countering abilities is a thing, but we don't play that many of those effects. And there are many free discard outlets you can use to help fuel this. You can put or even Razakev into your graveyard, you can put Broodlord and go for that. Or go like the cool kids these days want to, and before your turn make an army of flying zombies using a combination of Tortured Existence and Peregrine Drake. But only if you have at least 1 more creature card in your graveyard and 5 untapped lands. With that you can make an infinite army, untap and kill everyone. This one I can actually go in depth to because I want to try it in different formats too. So basically you discard your Drake for 1 black. For free, you make a copy of it. ETB in response, tap the last land for mana. Untap, use that floating mana to discard that creature to get back the Drake without activating Hashaton obviously, and rinse and repeat. Yes, this may be one of my new favorites for both Halloween and in general, and as a competitive commander in various formats, and is also one of my favorite color combinations. Again, Esper. I mean, there is a reason why I'm getting the precon. The last 2 cards are coming in it, but also the rest of the deck will be my new commander deck. And there are some awesome fun reprints in there with cool art, so make sure you check it out. I'm sure there are plenty of posts about the deck and Hashaton on the interwebs already, and obviously there will be more. And on the topic of reprints, there is one more reprint and the special guest section of Aetherdrift I am sure many of us are going to be chasing. And that brings us to the end of my Aetherdrift card review for cEDH. Did I miss any cards you found interesting? Make sure you let me know in the comments below, along with anything else you'd like me to read or share with me. And with that, I am Def. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all behind the veil.